was instinctual, and Dad, the one in that reverend, could fool people. Like, like he knew what he was doing, and he had a plan to kill me, and it should have worked. So if you put something smart instead of something else that already wants to eat your face off.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it. Listen. How did it feel to kill him?
I don't know. What kind of question is that?
Bree, there's one thing you always know. It's how you feel. I think you came here to tell me that. So, I'm waiting.
Good. It felt good. You deserved it. All of it. I mean, I was scared, and killing him wasn't the hard part.
That kind of feeling, that's what's going to keep you alive. Do you understand that?
I know. I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay. Good night, darling. Is there anything else?
No, forget it.
What?
Devin's in love with me.
Well, that's... I wouldn't worry about that. He's just a boy. That's pretty natural.
Yeah. It's strange days, right? You know, we're growing up fast. Remember that, okay?
Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Open the gate! Scouts reported frenzy activity in the area. Fever heads.
How many?
30, 40. Most of them are possessed.
Okay. Martin, take every unit we have. On the south road before dawn, we'll outflank them.
And ambush them.
No. Drive them this way. We'll be waiting for them.
But sir, if we're out there, who's gonna be here to help you defend the place?
Well, I guess we'll have to rely on our new friends.
But, sir,
Just do as I said. Come on.
Yes, sir.
身を捨てても妙理は捨てず。
Hvad har du gang i? Hvad har du gang i? Hvad har du gang i?
Ja, du er da ikke rigtig klog. Han er ikke rigtig klog, mand. Han er bur scenen, mand. Han er ikke rigtig klog.
Hey, what's up guys? Sign out to different sounds. You've got sounds coming in from Discord or Skype or your favorite voice. You've got sounds coming in from the video games. You might have music that's playing in the background. So we're going to take a look at that. So the first thing we're going to look at is the microphone. And to find the microphone settings, I go here and I click on the icon of the little speaker. I look at recording devices. And this is a AT2020, and I've got a audio interface. You may not have an audio interface. Maybe you just have a USB microphone. This applies to any microphone, really. And the idea is the same. You open up your microphone, and you take a look at your levels. I set my levels pretty much to maximum. You can set it to 100 or 95. So I want to get the full input of my microphone. Sometimes your microphone will also have audio boost on it. In this case, it doesn't have the boost, but the best way to calibrate your microphone, I think, is just to look at the levels and try to get your levels, about 3/4 of the way up if the levels. You can use OBS. Here, looking at OBS, when I talk into the microphone, the levels are coming up to, I don't know, maybe like -3, -5 dB. I think that's a pretty good spot for the microphone to be. Just make sure they're not going all the way up to 100 when you talk into the mic, because then your mic settings might be too high and you might get some clipping artifacts or some weird stuff going on. And if the microphone is just way down here, then that's probably too low and people are not going to be able to hear you over the music and the other stuff. You can use Adobe Audition or Audacity. Audacity is a free program if you don't have Audition and you don't have Adobe. Here, I'm looking at the audio levels and I can see the audio levels are peaking just shy of maximum. I'm pretty comfortable with these levels right here. I think that they're not quite maximum. They're not quite all the way down. I definitely do like Adobe Audition's. So now that we've got our microphone set up and it looks like the levels are okay, we can move on to other sounds. Let's take a look at the OBS settings. And before we dive into anything else, let's take a look at the OBS settings for audio. And in OBS, it's pretty simple. I prefer a 48 kilohertz sample rate, but that's because everything on my computer is set to 48. For example, your speaker settings, if they're set to 48 hertz, 48,000 hertz or 48 kilohertz, then you should stick with 48 as well. And that's what I do here. My speakers are set at 24-bit 48. Hertz, and that's how the sound is coming out of my speakers. The levels on your speakers, this volume right here does not affect the volume of sound that the viewers hear on your stream. At least for me, this setting right here is just the power that goes out to my headset and to my speakers. This does not affect what are the speakers. Those are the ones I was just looking at. Those are my default output. So I just manually select my default output. I like to specify because I know that's my main output. So I just select that. And then I select my mic here, which is that Focusrite. That's what my microphone is plugged into. So I select that. For you, it might be your USB mic, or it might be, whatever input your microphone is going into, you got to select that there. So sometimes when I'm playing music, I may be playing like Monster Cat through a web browser, or maybe I'm playing YouTube music or SoundCloud or whatever playlist you want to play. There's so many different kinds. There's even a pretty cool music player that I really like called Fubar. And you'll see a lot of people are using this. If you like to play from your own playlist, I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say that I've got some music that I want to play in the background, and I want to get the audio levels just right. And here I'm just going to play some music that sometimes I play like when I'm starting the stream. Maybe I'm gonna do like a countdown on OBS, and I want some really like super epic music to be playing. And here you can see that my levels are pretty low here in Fubar, and the volume goes up about halfway. So when I talk into the microphone, the levels are, higher than the music. If you really want people to hear you talking and you just want a very low music in the background, then I'll bring the music levels down even more. So you can see the audio levels are less than half, more like about a quarter of the way over. If your music is going to be, so if you're streaming music from the internet, I'm just going to go here to Monstercat, for example. And so I'm on twitch.tv, and take a look at this. It's got to be really, really low. People can still hear it, but I literally just go over like 2 clicks over, like maybe 3. And you can see the audio level is about right here. It's about a quarter of as much levels how you think they should be according to your stream. By the way, Monstercat music is VOD friendly on Twitch. So whenever you play this, your VODs won't get muted because of copyright music. I think it's time to take a look at the game sounds. Okay, so let's take a look at some game sounds. And I'm just going to launch World of Warcraft. So now let's take a look at the sound settings. And this is how I do my sound settings. You can do music that's playing in the back, 2 different sound sources. So you got to the master. Sometimes writing or ambient. I want the settings back. That's a pretty pause is producing a little bit of sound. That's just the ambient sounds. Here, there's more game sounds. These NPCs are like, as they're to make it louder. If you really can play so that the viewers can hear them, and the game is the main focus, and maybe the commentary is just kind of secondary, then you might want to focus on the game sounds a little bit and turn up the sounds a little bit. So what if you're playing music? Let's take a look at that. So now I turn the music on, and there's a lot going on. There's like a guy over have music. I'm peeking at it. I think that things are blending. Voice communications. Let's talk about voice communications. You might be thinking about configuring voice, and under the voice parameters here, I set my microphone to like 75%. And the reason that I set it down a little bit for voice is because this is what people in Discord are going to hear. All right, this has nothing to do, the input has nothing to do with what the stream hears. But sometimes with a really loud microphone, it could be a little bit overwhelming for the people that are in Discord. So I turned this down for them, but I could probably turn it up a little bit. I just was being a little more modest. If people in Discord want to turn me up, then they can. But the output, this is the one that's really important for what the stream hears. So this is your output level. And the best way to test this is actually to have somebody in Discord with you. And so you can, find the right levels. But at least for me, my speakers, I set the output device as my speakers, and I have mine set to like 110, because sometimes people are pretty low. Depending on which voice communication you use, it'll look a little bit different. But I think it's really important to have the voices coming out loud enough that the viewers can hear them. Because if you're having a conversation with someone in voice, you don't want it to be one-sided where the stream can hear what you say, but the stream can't hear what they're saying. But you also want to be the loudest. You don't want the people talking in your voice to be louder than you. That would be bad, because then your viewers might not hear what you're saying. They're just going to hear what the other person says. And ask your stream too. Say, are the levels okay on the other voices? Can you hear them? And just double check with your stream on that. When it comes to people in your voice, sometimes one person is like super loud. If somebody's really, really loud, then definitely turn them down, because if they're loud for you, they're going to be loud for the viewers too. The take-home message for voice communications is you always want to be just as loud or slightly louder than everybody else in the voice chat. The voice chat just needs to be loud enough so that the viewers can hear them, but you don't want them to be too overwhelming. Also, if you're using voice chat, you might also
hey, you, new, I'm coming in, new vacuum cleaner. And you're like, no, mom,